All right. Okay, so I want to tell you this story. It might be all the time I'm going to have for this. Maybe I'll get one more question at the end. All right, so this is a true story. You guys know what a quarter is, right?
Yeah.
It's a coin about yay big. I don't know. It's smaller than your toonie, I think. Looney Toonie. Let me just. The loony. Is it closer to the size of a loony? No? Do you guys have quarters?
Yes.
Oh. Is it the same size?
Yes.
Let me see. Bring it. Who has it? Oh. Oh, it is the same size.
It's not a moose.
It does.
It's an elk.
It doesn't feel as heavy though, actually.
It doesn't work in American vending machines because of that.
It doesn't. Oh, that's probably the weight then. Yeah. Okay. So it's the same size, but oh, she took it. All right. All right. So it's the same size. Ours is a little bit heavier, but it's basically the same thing. All right. So anyways, to go to work, I have to take the freeway, and when I come home, there's the off ramp there, and there's the signal light, and then I make a left under the overpass, and I head home. But always by that light at the bottom of the off ramp, there's been like this homeless guy standing on the corner. Not the same homeless guy, but a homeless guy on the corner. Always there with a sign asking for money. And I've always ignored him, or just pretended like I had music on and was like singing or something. Because I felt like, I'm not saying that don't give money to homeless people, but like I feel like they could jack me. I've got my seatbelt on, they can like stab me and I'm done. And so, that weirdness in my head that plays. And so anyways, I always ignored the homeless guy in the corner. This one day I exit the off ramp and there's like 4 or 5 cars in front of me, so probably about the distance from this wall to that. And I pull up and it's a red light, so there's 4 or 5 cars in front of me. And behind me pulls up this monster truck, and its wheels are towering above my car, and I can feel the vibration of this monster truck's engine, just like, and I can feel it vibrating the earth in my car and everything. And that makes me start thinking like, monster madness! And as soon as that light turns green, it's just gonna run us all over. So I have that image playing on I have a lot of weird images. Just always anywhere I go. So that was one of the images I have playing in my head. And so I had this Ziploc bag left over from lunch that had carrots in it. And I'm scarfing them down like it's my last supper, waiting for this thing to change. Like as soon as this changes green, you guys better go because he's going to kill us. And so I look over there at the corner expecting to see the homeless guy or a homeless guy there wanting money that I'm going to ignore. And I see a homeless woman. And I felt bad for her, my heart just went out to her for whatever reason. I was like, man, that could be my mom. And so I felt like I should do something. And so in LA, if you've ever been there, it might be the same here, but you have to pay for parking everywhere, like literally everywhere in LA. So if I go and audition or work, if there's not a parking spot, I gotta pay to park somewhere. So my cup holders are full of quarters. And I just finished this bag of carrots, and so I had this Ziploc bag of carrots, and I thought, or Ziploc bag empty, and I was like, you know what? I'll scoop up all these quarters and put it in a Ziploc bag. And then I'll give it to her and she can go change her life. And now my image of her is like she's got new clothes, taking showers, buying a house with my bag of quarters. And so I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. And I'm feeling good about this. And I scoop up all these quarters, I put them in a Ziploc bag, I'm like, oh, that's a heavy bag of quarters, like 3 pounds worth of quarters in my hand, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, cool. And so I hadn't done this before, so I assumed, roll down the window, do this, and she'll come over and grab it, right? So I roll down my window, and I put this bag of quarters out the window like this. And like I said, she's like the distance from here to there is like 4 or 5 cars. And then she sees me, and she has a sign in her hand, she goes like this.
Oh no.
I was like, what? Am I supposed to get out? Wait, am I supposed to walk it to you? I thought you were gonna come over here. So I'm like thinking, what's going on here? The light turns green. And these cars in front of me must have felt the vibration from the monster truck because they took off. So instinctively, I did the same thing. I just started going, right? And I'm approaching her now, and I look down, I'm like 25 miles an hour with a 3-pound bag of quarters, and I'm thinking, oh, wait a second. How how's this exchange gonna happen? You know? If I stop, he's gonna run me over for sure. I can't just stop, you know, from 25 to nothing. And I'm like, what if she's not like a football player, I can't just like throw it in her gut and she's good. You know, and what if she hangs on to it too long and I pull her under my car, or I hold on to it too long, she pulls me out and I die. So I'm like freaking out. It's like 2 seconds worth of panic. And then I get this moment of clarity, this epiphany, and I go, Johnny, dude, you're a martial artist. You just have to focus, Johnny, focus. It's all about timing. And so I'm like, okay, Johnny, you can do this. So this 2-3 pound bag of quarters in my hand, 25 miles an hour, all you have to do, Johnny, is this. And you'll watch it gracefully land into her hands. So there I am, going 25 miles an hour, waiting for the right moment. And I'm like, now. And I release. And I say this all the time whenever I tell this story. But I think God hit the slow motion button at that moment. If you've ever been in an accident, time does slow down. So I think God hit the slow motion button, and he's like, Jesus, bring some popcorn. Moses, grab the nachos. Let's watch this one in slow-mo. This is the moment we play back when he dies. Over and over and over again. So there I am. 25 miles an hour, 2-3 pound bag of quarters. I release, I watch as this bag of quarters flies through the air in slow motion. It was graceful. 2 or 3 pound bag of quarters, 25 miles an hour, smacks her in the face. The bag rips open, the quarters fall glistening in the sunlight, and the only thing I could do was this. No! This was her. She goes down as I scream no. I'm going so fast that I screech, literally screech around the corner like a drive-by quartering. From any other perspective. There's no way to turn around to see if she's okay, alive, or anything. So I just kept driving home. Hugging the steering wheel like this. Feeling dirty. True story. So, this is a true story. Now, I had mentioned before, there's always some homeless guy on the corner, or various homeless guys on the corner, that I'd ignore. That was the one time there's a homeless woman there, right? After that day, I've never seen a homeless person on that corner. It's not a joke. I've never seen them there again. So, I assume they all talk or something. And so as I mentioned before, I have these weird visions in my head, and I imagine this homeless guy, a barrel fire, under a bridge. He's standing there, this other homeless guy walks up, hey Bob, how's it going? He's like, hi. So where's Sally? You didn't hear? She's dead. Some guy killed her with quarters. Yeah. So, if there's a lesson to be learned, don't give homeless people money. Especially while driving your car. So, I drive by there every single day after a voiceover, and I'm like, what happened? Did she pick up all the quarters? Is she alive? Should I put a white cross there? And leave a bag of quarters? Anyways, true story. Sometimes sucks to be me. All right, I think I got time for just a couple quick questions. Yes?
It's really quick because you're telling that story. At some points, I imagine Isaiah saying it. And other moments when I'm looking down, because I told you before, I listened to you as a Power Ranger in Portuguese, so it's kind of weird. And when I look down, I
Super Power Ranger quarter attack.
Really weird. Because you said it's the most natural for you, right?
Yeah.
And Ransom, you said that it was quite whiny. Yes, I understand that, but it's really good to hear that from you because I really appreciate it. I appreciate it even more now. But all the same, you have this voice that I think acceptable whining.
You have an acceptable whiny voice, John.
And my question is about like the war cries and stuff, like bunkai and stuff like that. I think you have this natural that's so prominent, so important in anime. How do you feel with these war cries? Like, I wish I could like just run out the street and just like yell,
Well, you know, the funny thing, I think you mentioned it before, I do credit a lot of that to my martial arts background. Because a lot of the fight stuff or reaction stuff, even with Bleach, it was like, a lot of times it's just one pass. They're like, all right, you ready? You know, and we'd go and I would chase the action and then they would line up anything I missed. Yeah, that's all very natural for me, but the thing is I probably do it wrong. There's probably other voice actors that will do it the right way where it doesn't hurt their voice. I actually probably do it the wrong way because I commit entirely to that scream. So it hurts me afterwards, but I know that it sounds right. And I'll give you a perfect example. I remember somebody had sent me like an abridged series of Eureka 7 or whatever, and they're like, this guy sounds just like you. And I was like, really? And so I watched it, and you guys sound nothing like me. He was holding back the whole time. It sounded like he was in his closet, his mom was in the next room, and he didn't want to scream too loud. Because like there's a couple times when he was supposed to be screaming, he was like, ah, and I was like, come on. So come on. And so, yeah, so for me, if there's a scream, I scream like it hurts. Because I want that emotion to be there as well. And I want you to hear that, my throat being torn up a little bit, just for that, you know. Now, I don't do that all the time, but depending on the role. Now, if it's like a really low character, like, I don't know, Ninja 19, I probably won't. But, yeah. The question was, this is the last one and I have to go, but thank you guys so much for your time and for coming here. The question was, has there been a role that I've been given? It was like, just do whatever you want. Yes, that has happened a few times, but one of the ones that I really remember is a show. It's a show called Doraemon. It's like Japan's Mickey Mouse, and Disney had brought it over. In the first season, there was a lot of flexibility and a lot of opportunity to improv. Christy Reed was directing. She does a lot of Cartoon Network stuff. And like Clarence and things like that. So she was directing me on that show, and so she gave me so much freedom in coming up with dialogue and stuff like that. But then she had the second season came out, and she had to leave and go do. She got busy with Cartoon Network, and then it was like I didn't have a director, and they were like, "You can do it," you know. And I was like, "Okay." And so it was like total freedom, changing things left and right, just to make it funny and ridiculous, but sticking to the ideas of the story or whatever. But there's so much more freedom in that, but in that show specifically. Thank you guys so much for taking the time.